tape.
Welcome into College Football Live, where no one has to work on Fridays when Game Day is in town for the first time ever. Right outside of Jack Trice Stadium, you find us, Maria Taylor alongside David Pollack and Desmond Howard. And how does it feel to make your first trip to Ames, Des?
It feels fantastic. This is exactly what I was expecting for a Friday afternoon.
I know, right?
Thanks for coming out here. I can't wait until tomorrow morning.
It's going to be an absolute scene. This is one of the, 12 teams we hadn't been to or something like that.
Yeah.
Now we accomplished that. Thank God for the weather, by the way.
Doesn't it feel
Austin
good?
last week?
Exactly.
Yes.
I know,
Africa
right?
hot. Holy cow. This feels beautiful. We could do this all day long.
Almost a little chilly, but we'll allow it because it is football weather. Okay, so this week we have no ranked matchup, but take a look at our weekend slate presented by Cars.com. Number 2, Alabama hasn't played South Carolina in 9 years, but they'll be meeting on Saturday. The Tide have won 84 straight against unranked teams, and then we have UCF putting its 16-game home win streak on the line against Stanford, and then of course here, the Cy-Hawk Trophy. It will be decided, and then at night we've got Syracuse headed to Clemson.
If I'm going to pick a game where I think the upset's going to happen, technically it's an upset right here. And I
There
think
you go, guys.
when you got this crowd, that's going to be awesome. When you got a quarterback like Brock Purdy, I'm a big fan of this offense. I'm a big fan of this defense and how they do it uniquely from a lot of places, in college football. This game matters, and I think Iowa State's got a good chance to pull the upset.
Yeah, this may be a surprise game.
It's the one thing that, almost Matt Campbell hasn't been able to check off the list of things he's done since arriving here 4 years ago. 8-5 the last 2 seasons, but a win over Iowa is the one thing that's evaded this team. And I talked to Deshaunte Jones earlier today, and he was all in on. He's like, this is the game we have to win. It's his senior year, so.
And you're not used to seeing rivalry games this early in the season. True. Like, we always have rivalry week, and we wait to the end of the year, and everybody's kind of, you've seen what they are. Both these teams kind of, we don't know yet. UNI was not a strong performance week 1. Iowa's looked pretty solid, but now they get to play, and now we get to see what both these teams are about. So rivalry game early in the season is a lot of fun to have.
I was at the facility yesterday, and I spoke to Coach Campbell and some of the players, and I tell you what, they're so excited about this matchup. They understand everything that's at stake, and, I think it's going to come down to which team doesn't turn the ball over? Whoever can win the turnover battle. When you speak to the coaches and the SIDs, they said, we feel as though we're evenly matched with this team, but what's been the difference in past years is the turnover battle. We've turned the ball over. They haven't, so make sure you keep an eye on the turnover battle tomorrow.
All right, Iowa State, y'all feeling good? Great, because we have an Iowa State superstar joining us on College Football Live. Might not have played football, but George Yang's a pretty big deal here, and he's going to come up to set when we come back from Ames.
College Football Live is brought to you by Old El Paso. Everything goes with Old El Paso.
Welcome back to College Football Live, where we want to take you to the hardwood right quick, because George Niang, a 4-year player for the Cyclones, one of the hoop legends. He was one of the connoisseurs of the Hilton Magic. Now with the Utah Jazz, scored over 2,000 points here in Ames, Iowa. And I guess he's back here for another big-time game against Iowa. The jumper's good.
Nice release. Look at that.
The dribble's good. The skills are good.
Swish.
The fans love you, George. How often do you make it back to Ames?
I try to get it back as much as possible. I run a charity golf outing here in the summer, but I had to come back for this whooping we're about to give the Hawkeyes.
I love it when you just come out swinging.
Yeah, I need it.
Take us back through your 4 years and the matchups that you had with Iowa. Like, how much do you hate the Hawkeyes?
Oh, the hate is real.
Yeah?
I don't like to use that word, but it's real. But, in the basketball court, I know we've dominated this series. Football.
It's been the opposite. They've dominated you.
Whoa.
No, stop.
It's true. We're going to live in the present, so when tomorrow happens, you can come talk to me. Yeah, no, it's a Cyclone state regardless, so let's put that out there.
Quick question. I want to ask you, when you guys were preparing to play Iowa in basketball, how was that week of preparation?
It's super intense. I was just telling someone this the other day. I was like, when you really think back to this rivalry, it's super intense, and some people think of it as like, oh, it's just a game, but I think for these fans in this state, this is way more than that. People could care less what other game you win. As long as you win this game, that's all that matters, and the trash talking keeps going on for a year.
I think it's so funny. Because all the athletes, when you talk to them, you know, David does, they're like, oh, it's the next game on the schedule. We got to go 1-0, blah, blah, blah. But, what are you guys really saying?
No, not this one. They're like, we're taking down the Squawks.
The Squawks. Give me the best story you have from playing against Iowa during your season.
Hopefully you can get a video of this. But so it was my junior year. We go to Iowa. We're beating them pretty bad, and I knew the game was over. I went and laid the ball in and then blew a kiss to their fan section. So that was the best. Like that.
I like that. I like that.
Warm reception like here?
No, it wasn't that great. But back in Ames, I know they were going crazy, right, guys? Yeah.
Well, George, you've managed to parlay a very impressive collegiate career. You're an All-American. You won the Karl Malone Award. I mean, as a rookie, you were running things, essentially, into a professional career. You're coming off of one of your best seasons.
And the Jazz are about to be real,
They are.
Yeah.
So describe what the professional ranks have been like for you and how that transition has gone.
It was tough. I mean, in college, you know, everything is pretty much mapped up for you. I mean, you know, as a professional, you kind of have to take care of your body, eat a little better. I mean, there were a couple of times I was like, man, I look pretty chubby. No, so you just have to manage yourself. There's no one there to, you know, tell you that you have to go lift. I mean, you have to take care of these things on your own, but I was happy I came to a school like this where they gave me the tools to do that and move on.
So you got to play in the NBA, probably make your dream come true of doing that. All the teams out west and all the firepower on the west side, especially in the West Division, what was the best player you saw last year, or the most crazy player you saw that you're just like, good Lord, how does he do that?
I got to play with Paul George my rookie year, but obviously I think, you know, LeBron and
James Harden, or Steph,
Kawhi Leonard, James Harden. They've knocked us out of the playoffs 2 years, so I don't really want to say he's super talented. There's so many talented players in the West. I mean, every guy offers a different dynamic, and I just think the West is from like 1 to 14. I mean, anybody can get beat any night. So, I mean, there's too many players. I mean, we don't have that long, right?
Yeah. Now, listen, I know you said you guys are going to beat the Squawks tomorrow. Can you give us a score?
You know, I'm a big Brock Purdy fan.
Okay. I like Brock.
Everyone here is.
My boy's going to be slinging it tomorrow. I see him throwing for 3 or 4 touchdowns. I'm going with 31-20 Cyclones.
All right.
31-20, okay.
31-20 Cyclones. George Yang, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Good luck to you, man.
He's got to go get back out to the hardwood. Another season with the Utah Jazz coming his way. And you're watching college football.
This is a cyclone weather alert. Ladies and gentlemen, radar has indicated a strong storm approaching Jack Trice Stadium. You are advised to seek shelter. Gale force winds, thunderous hits, and a 100% chance of that in this clash for the Cy-Hawk Trophy. Iowa State and Iowa caught up in the cyclone in a bitter heartland feud right in the eye of the storm. The forecast also calls for heavy upsets across the country. Our historic motto indicates that clueless teams in high-ranking areas are vulnerable to violent lightning strikes. But the Hawkeyes and the Cyclones, oh, they see the threatening clouds, nasty-looking radar. They know what's coming, and they are storm chasers. They run right into it. They know where they're going, to Jack Trice Stadium and College Ames Day.
And we're coming to your city.
College Game Day, live from Ames, Iowa, is built by the Home Depot, proud sponsor of college football's premier pregame show.
Hey, I think this is sort of like the real Iowa caucus. They're first in sorting out the presidential candidates, and we've got a ton of people. You hear the population numbers for Iowa cities. Ames has about 66,000. It's a few more than can go into Jack Trice Stadium. 150,000 people expected here today for the entire scene, which would make it the second largest city in Iowa. Our director, Rodney Perez, loves nothing better than a cannon. Clearly. If a school has a cannon, it's on. It's going to be showcased.
Right.
Glad to have you with us. Reese Davis, Kirk Herbstreit, Lee Corso, and Desmond Howard.
Yes.
You know these folks, when they went to the Liberty Bowl, drank the place dry at Busch Light. They might be on this starting here.
I tell you what, when we first got the nod that we were coming to Ames, Iowa, I was excited. I expected a pretty decent crowd, but this is outstanding. Ames, stand up. Be recognized. This is incredible. I love coming here, man.
You know, the great saying here is if you build it, they will come.
Yes, sir.
And that's what Matt Campbell has done with this program in Iowa State, has really built a program. And obviously the fans, you've been here for hoops, you've been here for Thursday night games, but what Matt Campbell's doing right now is really special.
Yeah.
You know, I have a special soft spot for the state of Iowa. My late mother was born here in Seymour, Iowa.
No way.
Man, that says it all for me.
Oh,
boy.
that's
that says
great.
it all.
Yeah.
Irma Corso, right?
Irma Corso.
There we go.
Yep.
That's what we call this first segment. Exactly. Everybody in, we call it the Irma Corso segment. You know what? No games matching ranked opponents today. The last time that happened 2 years ago, and Syracuse beat Clemson.
Ooh. How about that?
And what about the Cyhawk? That Hawkeye defense is stifling. A.J. Epinez has been seeing chips and double teams, so they're using some stunts, looping him in to try to get some pressure. Can he pressure Brock Purdy and Iowa's great dual threat quarterback? Do it with his arm. Some of the fans here want him to scramble more, but look at this. Ball's on the ground. Purdy does
First guy in.
He saved the game.
He sure did.
Against Northern Iowa. Now, I told you that we haven't had or don't have any games matching ranked opponents. In that Week 7 in 2017, 7 ranked teams lost to unranked opponents. Now, Iowa's ranked. Iowa State is not. The dean of college football coaches, Kirk Ferentz, bringing his team in here. It's a big one today.
Well, there's a few stats that favor Iowa State in this ball game. Iowa State has beaten 5 ranked teams in the last 2 years. Yeah. Iowa State has a 7-game winning streak in that stadium.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Iowa State had an off week this last week to get ready for the Hawkeyes.
That's right.
Very, very important.
Yeah.
Off week.
Yeah, 2 weeks to get ready for a big rivalry game, always going to benefit, especially the home team.
But this is the place I expect some magic to happen. Like Coach said, these guys have knocked out top 10 teams since 2017 and 2018. I think they're poised to do it again, especially coming off a bye week.
Highlights of those games that Desmond mentioned.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Up in a little bit. Matt Campbell from Iowa State is going to join us. Eric Church, country music superstar. He will join us for our Saturday selections. And Coach Corso's headgear pick. I look at Eric knows college football.
He's dialed in.
Oh, he's going to be an analyst.
You better be on your game.
No doubt. Exactly, yeah.
How about last week? He was terrific. He dropped the gauntlet last week.
Took my head off, but he was terrific.
Sports Center comes up after college football on ESPN and the app, and we say good morning to Maria Taylor.
Good morning, Reese. I've certainly been enjoying my time here in Ames, Iowa. Some of the best fans you could ever be around. And, well, on Thursday, the RVs were already rolling in here, so tailgating is most certainly a thing, which is why here on College Game Day, we're going to investigate the culture of college football, specifically tailgating. Who has the best tailgates in the country? Is it Ames? Matt Campbell, he's going to join us on College Game Day. Coming up next, we'll hear from the man in charge here at Iowa State. And one of his players, Deshaunte Jones, he has a message for all you fans out there.
What's up, Cyclone Nation? It's your boy Deshaunte Jones here. Hey, come out tomorrow, hyped, ready to go for this game. It's going to be a great one. Can't wait to see everybody in Jack Trice Stadium. Let's go. Let's rock and roll with the Cyclones. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Yes, sir.
Yes, it is. Checking in with Section 0 as we share a Coke with, they'll like this better, former Iowa State wide receiver Akeem Butler.
Hey!
Playing with the Arizona Cardinals now, had a great career here in Ames, playing for Matt Campbell. And Matt Campbell's establishing his system here at Iowa State. Kirk Ferentz is the dean of coaches. Look at the comparison between the first 3 years, and Campbell is certainly on a good track as we have him wide.
You're teaching the world toughness, discipline, and detail still matter.
Walk through, here we go. Offensive scouts, defense, and it's up. I think you gotta be physical and throw them by.
You can't minor in what we do defensively. You have to major in it.
You gotta beat that guy.
As we continue to build this offense, who are those guys that are gonna help us create those big plays for us to be successful?
Engage him though, right? Please engage him. Go, just block. Oh, now I got him.
If you fall in love with the process,
Go, Brees. Go, Brees.
eventually the process will love you back.
I love that. Eventually, the process will love you back. Well, 4 years in the making, back-to-back 8-win seasons, and Matt Campbell, he is the man here at Iowa State. And, Coach, let's talk about that process, because when you took over, that's what you told your players, that they're going to have to trust in it. What would you say are the changes that have been made to allow you to have these back-to-back winning seasons?
You know, I think the biggest thing here is that we had to believe. And, you know, I think it took year one to understand how to believe that we can win here. And the only way that's going to happen is trust. And trust is really special in college football because it's got to go player to player, player to coach to coach, and back to coach to player. And, you know, that's really resonated in our program over the last 3 years. And then the humility to stick to that process, even when some success would occur, that's what's made us really special. And some great leaders along the way in our locker room have taken hold of that and led us.
Give me some of those leaders, because you're always tweeting about culture changers.
Yeah.
Who were the changers for you?
Well, you know, you talk about stories like Joel Lanning being the starting quarterback and then moving over to play linebacker. You talk about a guy like Kyle Kemp, who, you know, walks on our program and all of a sudden goes to Norman and has to start a game and gives us a chance to go win a football game in Norman, Oklahoma. And, you know, now you talk about guys like Brock Purdy and Ray Lima in our locker room, and guys that, you know, not only are they good football players, but it's who they are that make what we do really special.
Okay, something else that makes what you do really special is obviously the group of people that are behind us, Coach. How would you describe being in Ames? It didn't matter if you guys were coming off a losing season or a winning season. They've been behind you. How would you describe the support you have here?
I mean, honestly, it's the only reason we've had the ability to build this program. It's the loyalty and faithfulness of these great people, our great fan base, that's literally given us a chance to show young people, why do you want to come to Iowa State? Why do you want to be a Cyclone? And why do you want to play in these environments? Because the loyalty and faithfulness of these people have been unbelievable.
Well, I know one of the reasons why players want to come here is because they want to play in games against Iowa. So describe what this week of preparation is like. And I know no one likes to say it's different than any other week, but Coach, this is a Super Bowl in Iowa. So how would you describe it?
You know, I think it's really unique in being a part of this rivalry now going 3 years. I think what's different here is you play this game early. It's a game where both teams are in different conferences, but yet it's a state that's got such a great passion. And there's a passion in both fan bases, both alumni, both universities. And so at the end of it, yes, every big game, you know, there's just a little bit extra. But at the end of it, it's the team that's got the ability, discipline, and detail that's going to allow you to have success. So I think that's been our biggest thing, is taking the noise, blocking that noise out, and staying focused on the details that it'll take to win the football game.
All right, Coach, I want you to make these fans make some noise. Tell them what you need from them here tonight. Go ahead, the floor is yours, whatever you need to say.
Well, we appreciate the best fans in college athletics. Thanks so much, and go Cyclones.
Thanks, guys. Coach Campbell, you got a lot of support out there, bud.
Thank you. Episode The American Game debuts Tuesday, 7 Eastern on ESPN. Tells the story of the evolution of college football over 150 years. How the game developed into what it is today, and you can catch it on the ESPN app. I'm going to tell you, this is one of the great tailgating scenes in all of college football. Give a look. We're out here in the octagon. We can barely hear ourselves think.
Hey.
Yeah, this is incredible.
Hey, this is
outstanding.
This gives you an idea of Nate Stanley.
They better run a silent count today.
Yeah.
Hey, so this can really, before we get to the fun stuff, this kind of noise, this kind of energy.
Yeah.
Huge impact on the Iowa offense.
Yeah,
today, right?
and early in the year, you really better have your communication, as Des said, down in hand signals. Fortunate they have a veteran quarterback to help them, but this crowd, man, it's going to be a factor. It'll be a factor in the game.
I was coming in here a little after 5 o'clock this morning. Okay. Cars lined up as far as you could see to get ready for this and the tailgate.
Right.
When's the last time you tailgated?
Never. I've never ever tailgated before. I know. I'm sorry, Reese.
Can somebody invite Desmond to his tailgate?
Can I come to the tailgate, please? All right. I'm going to tailgate today.
You don't get to do it often.
No.
You guys have done it a little bit.
No,
though, right?
but I'll never forget I'm from this region, from the Big Ten, and I never forget when I started to go with Game Day to the SEC, and I started to see campers coming in Baton Rouge on Thursday, and little kids throwing Nerf footballs, and the smokers going up, and the smell of bourbon in the air, and I was like, man, this is different. They tailgate I think LSU takes it to a whole different level.
Yeah, truly.
LSU, what about the Grove?
Oh, my goodness.
The Grove is one of the if you have not seen the Grove, you would do yourself justice to go see
Anybody who has tents with chandeliers, I mean,
I'm going to tell you, Reese, one thing I observed. Up in this part of the country, they start drinking beer early. Down in LSU, they start drinking brown liquor early.
Yeah, for sure. You've noticed that.
Hydration is key for football. Hydration.
This is really part of what it's part of what CFB 150 captures. It's the whole culture of the sport.
Exactly.
And Iowa has established a great culture over in Iowa City with Ferentz for a long period of time. And then you see this enthusiasm that even in lean years has been relentless here.
Kirk Ferentz has a culture that has been established. You just close your eyes. It doesn't matter who graduates. You know what Iowa's going to be the very next year. They recruit players that are very hard-nosed, blue-collar kids. Most of them redshirt. They get in the weight room. They got a great conditioning program, staff. And now you have a new culture here at Ames. You just heard Matt Campbell. By the way, when Matt Campbell got done with Maria, I was like, all right, I want to go play for Matt Campbell. Matt Campbell is incredible. And the way he talked about detail and discipline and toughness and accountability, things that guys really fall in love with. It's what the team is all about.
Hey, I want you to get this sign as I get ready to bring the bear in here. Not this. I think George Niang, the Iowa State basketball star, saying it's a cyclone state. Bear, they've welcomed us with open arms. We bring Chris Malika in here. Bear, we're now down to 10 Power 5 schools where Game Day has not been. Where are we going next? Where do you set the odds?
I'm looking at next year. There are a bunch of possibilities now for next year. It's been forward to that. Wake Forest has a home game against Clemson. Cal's got home games against Utah, Oregon, and Washington. Virginia's got a home game against Miami. Minnesota maybe hosts Michigan next year. Maryland, if Locks can get it going again, they host Ohio State next year. Maybe one of those in 2020 might be 56 of 65 next year?
That UVA team, boy, they're starting to look good.
They
Why
are.
is 2019 not an opportunity for any of these guys? Why is it all 2020, man?
Hey, your Maryland squad is leading that Twitter poll here.
Yeah.
Got chances to go to Maryland?
I'd love to go there.
The snake pit, right outside the snake pit.
Bird Stadium, right? Bird Stadium.
It's going to what used to be called Bird Stadium. It's a snake pit.
Show America what's up.
Let me remind you, in the midst of this crowd, Tyson Fury wants that rematch with Deontay Wilder's got to get past the big Swede out of the lane first. That comes up on ESPN Plus, English and Spanish. finish 11 Eastern tonight from Las Vegas. To order the main card, go to ESPNplus.com/top rank. Stream the undercard. Starts around 7:30. We check in with the pitmaster and owner Ryan Newstrom. He is the pitmaster Bob Lowry from Cornbread Barbecue at the Home Depot Game Day Tailgate. Or so. I think 150,000 people are going to be here to just celebrate this Heartland rivalry for the Cy-Hawk Trophy. The Hawkeyes have won the last 4, and Iowa State desperate to get one. Still out of college game day, Tom Rinaldi. Got to put him in. Eric Church, country music superstar, will be here to make picks. Will he go Cyclones or Hawkeyes? And LC. Yeah. On the mascot head. Oh, there it is. And the cannon. Hey.
Oh, boy.
Nothing but cannons all the time. LC, you going to fire a cannon?
No.
No? All right.
Too dangerous.
Hey, look at
Old Crimson's here.
Old Crimson made it again. Of course. Old Crimson was in Houston last night, 229
right.
money question. Hey, we're going to talk about UCLA, who's not doing any of their jobs very well right now. Or maybe they should hit the panic button. Maria and David, would you have one job?
Yeah, Reese, you're so right. I'll tell you who is doing their jobs. All of these fans right here.
They're doing their job.
They're doing their jobs pretty well. I've seen suspenders, I've seen some great shirts, and amazing signs. But unfortunately, it's week 3, and a lot of people aren't doing their jobs well. So it's time for You Had One Job, presented by Geico. I'm going to start with Trey McKinney from Florida State. He lines up which way, David?
We're going the other way.
The wrong way.
Hey, Bud, how is that? That's very hard to believe it's even possible. I mean, in Florida State right now, anything's possible.
That was trickery. Elijah Sindelar lined up in the shotgun.
You got to catch the ball.
But he didn't line up under the center.
That would help.
Whose fault is it?
That's his fault. What are you talking about?
I know, just making
Quarterbacks are the smartest people on the field. Come on, bro.
Or so they say. Pat Mahomes, okay, wide open touchdown to Travis Kelce? No. It was a no-look pass. He tried to hit him with
Sometimes when that layup's open, you don't need to do a reverse layup, right? Just look at the guy. There's nobody in your face. You got to do is look at the guy and throw it. I mean, come on, Pat.
They still got the win. BYU, Tennessee, Zach Dahl, he doesn't want to have any parts of Jared Garantano's shoe, so he just throws it off the field after it falls off. Just get it out of here.
Who throws a shoe? Like, how is that even in your thought process? I'm just going to take this shoe and throw it.
That's how you play defense on the QB.
Jeez. They're not doing their job. Turnover pencil. Come on. I'm so excited to get the
I literally can't hear you. I can't hear him, Reese. It's so loud.
Well, that's what we want.
Yeah.
We have rivalry, lifeblood of the sport. I think they will welcome Eric Church, our celebrity guest picker, our friends at Wheels Up.
That's fired up, too.
I
He really
can think
does.
of one guy you might want to hit. Okay, the Cyclone State. Gene Wojciechowski, the story of this rivalry.
It's the biggest thing in the state of Iowa, other than the Iowa State Fair. And I would say that most people would say that the Iowa State football game is more popular than the Iowa State Fair.
College Game Day, built by the Home Depot, is brought to you by Allstate.
All right, Sam. Sam's been with us before. She knows what these atmospheres and rivalries are like. This is an Iowa caucus on which they'll never reach a consensus. Cyclones, Hawkeyes. We appreciate the rivalry. Here's somebody who lives it.
To root for state is to understand a truth you can never voice. We are not better than the Hawkeyes. We were not better than them in the past when Hayden Fry ran up the score and the shame of those Saturdays taunted us in the reflection of his god-awful shades, and we are not better than the Hawkeyes now. We haven't won the only game that matters since 2014. Yet we will never abandon the Cyclones. That's because, unlike Iowa fans, we believe in the improbable. Seneca Wallace out-juking every Red Raider on his way to the end zone. Troy Davis rushing in a single game for 378 yards. Matt Campbell marching his squad to Norman and stomping OU.
Takes the snap. He delivers. Catch for the touchdown. Are you kidding me?
This is why we won't give the Hawkeyes credit. They aren't deserving of it. They don't have the faith that stares through darkness, the hope that makes the victory, like the one that'll happen today, all the sweeter. To be from here, to root for state, is to know ordinary people can accomplish the extraordinary. When we talk about this game, there's only one thing we say. Let's go, Cyclones.
There might be a little trepidation. Matt Campbell is yet to beat Iowa. They're hoping that today is the day inside Jack Trice Stadium. You know, for years there was so much animosity between the two. They didn't play forever. Go back to some of the great matchups in the history, and there are very few that would match up with that 1977 game. First meeting in 43 years. Look at the clones wearing "Beat Iowa" on the front of their jerseys. Quarterback Terry Rubley loses the ball.
Look at the unis in general, by the way.
Don't you love those?
First they have a throwback game.
Hawks with those yellow helmets.
Look what they did. They tore down the goalpost. In 2011, Iowa leads by 7. Steel Jance. How about that name? Steel Jance finds Darius Darks. Oh. Go into overtime. Second overtime, Iowa is trailing 38-31. James Vandenberg to Keenan Davis. Do I hear triple overtime? And from there, close down by 3.
Low scoring affair.
2017. Let's play a little free football, too. How about Jacob Parks, the Georgia transfer, finding Akeem Butler, who we saw earlier.
Pretty big, pretty large, had a pretty good career. Had a big lead, too, right?
Yep. You know, this was the game where Nate Stanley really proved himself. He finds Akram Wadley. How about this run from Akram Wadley?
How does he stand down?
Tremendous effort by Wadley.
Unbelievable.
Tremendous effort.
Iowa was down 10, I think, late in that game.
Well, here we're in overtime, and Stanley finds Amir Smith-Marset. Those two might hook up again today, and Iowa wins it. Now, for all the acrimony, there are connections. Dan Gable wrestled here and coached at Iowa. Dan McCarney has been at both places as Gene Wojciechowski joins us for more on the modern-day rivalry.
You know, Reese, in 1998, Dan McCarney promised his children if his 28-point underdog Iowa State team beat Iowa, he'd buy them a puppy. They won the game, he got them the dog. They won the next year's game, he got them another dog. They won 3 more games in a row, he didn't get them any more dogs, but he did bring home something just as special. It was called the Cy-Hawk Trophy.
It's one of the great rivalries in all of college football.
Unbelievable play again!
So much bad blood.
Into the end zone, touchdown!
God bless the Cyclones and the Hawkeyes. You'll be remembered forever what you did in those games, but you will always be remembered if you were part of a team that won that Cy-Hawk Trophy.
Timeout. For nearly half the 20th century, from 1935 through 1976, there was no game between Iowa State and Iowa. And there definitely wasn't a trophy. Until Bob Utes came along.
Late fall, early winter of 76, I was driving with my family, and we were talking about the game coming next year. I said there ought to be a trophy for this game. And my oldest son, who was 10 at the time, said, why don't you do it? Utes and his bowling league buddies each chipped in $50 to pay for the $500 trophy and the cost of creating the Greater Des Moines Athletic Club. I didn't actually see a Greater Des Moines Athletic Club. Where is it located? In our hearts and minds, and in a filing over at the state capitol under corporations.
The original one looked like somebody did it in the basement after a long day of maybe tailgating.
People have said it looks like a bowling trophy. It was created by a bunch of bowling buddies.
I think it's awesome. I think it's because it's barbaric. You know, it's just it's like 2 teams fighting over like a piece of meat.
With the blessings of the governor of Iowa, the first ever Cy-Hawk Trophy made its debut at the hypercharged 1977 game.
Resuming a rivalry and long overdue.
People came in off their tractors out of the fields. People came in and watched a game on TV or listened to the game on the radio while they're in their combines.
Dan McCarney, a former Iowa lineman born and raised in Iowa City, was on the sideline as a Hawkeyes part-time assistant coach.
The hair was standing up on the back of my neck anyway. jerseys on. It was nuts leading up to that game, and it's been nuts ever since.
Iowa dominated the series until 1998, when McCarney, by then the Iowa State head coach, broke the Hawkeyes' 15-game win streak with a stunning upset.
Iowa State not only upsetting Iowa, but dominating.
I brought that trophy home. I woke up the next day, I grabbed that thing, and I had a big glassed-in shower, and I was taking a shower, and I brought that trophy into the bathroom. I had to get another look at it.
The original Cy-Hawk trophy was used until 2011, when a new corporate sponsor unveiled a new trophy.
We like to joke that the Pewter family, as it became dubbed in social media, is in witness protection somewhere off in Nebraska, perhaps.
As a player, I don't know if I'd be too excited to run over and pick a trophy like that up.
There might have been somebody that was on some Quaaludes or LSD or something that designed that whole thing.
The trophy never made an appearance in the game. What we had to do quickly was to create an interim trophy. The worst part of that is that it broke in the middle of the field.
The current trophy has been featured since 2012. The original still belongs to the fictitious Greater Des Moines Athletic Club and to those who remember simpler times.
We were just a bunch of guys who thought this was a good idea. The series should be played forever and ever, and we were trying to come up with something that looked like a football trophy. To know that we had something to do with this series, it's beyond belief.
Well, here it is, the original trophy. It's a little worse for wear, but it's still here. You know, I asked Bob Utes, would you ever consider selling this thing? He looked at me like I was nuts. No, I would never sell it. It will never be for sale. He says they bring it out to the fans and let them see it. It is, after all, the fans' trophy. And in the spirit of that, we'll do the Lion King thing, Simba, and pass it to the trophy fans. There you go. Wow. Be careful.
That's bold.
Down it goes.
Okay, all right.
We'll never see that again.
That's going to wind up some other place. He's not going to sell it. He just gave it away, apparently. Let's check in with Maria, who has our Pizza Hut home team fan, former Iowa State quarterback, Seneca Wallace. Maria?
Yeah, that's right, Reese. And somehow, I don't know how this happened, Seneca, but I got all the Iowa State fans behind me.
Hate it. I don't want this behind me. It's too much black and yellow. I hate it.
But you never lost to Iowa, so I got to take you back in history. 2002, Kinnick Stadium. What happened there?
The biggest comeback in victory in Iowa State history. And it's going to happen today as well.
What would you say is the week of preparation is like going into Iowa State, Iowa? How is it different?
You know, it's different. I mean, everybody's awareness is up. You know, for the people here from the state of Iowa that played on our team in 2002, it meant so much to them. So for us to go down there and beat them in their stadium, I mean, it's the best feeling. It was quiet. Everybody was excited at halftime, and it completely changed after halftime when we came back to win.
Okay, well, one of the cool things for you, Seneca, is you're going into the Hall of Fame here at Iowa State. I want you to take me through one magical play, the run against Texas Tech.
Oh, everybody knows the run, but everybody don't remember I had a run against Nebraska that went on to play in the national championship game that year. But the run against against Texas Tech that year, everybody knows that. For all the younger generation, YouTube it. You got to watch it. It's a little grainy. It's a little grainy, but you'll see it. But, I mean, it was a 100-yard run for a 15-yard touchdown.
All right, you want to give one more go Iowa State before I let you go?
Go Iowa State. We're going to beat Iowa today, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
Seneca believes there are a lot of former Cyclones who will be here cheering on their team here at Jack Trice Stadium. Checking in on this week's Home Depot Pro Customer of the Week, Gabe Fritzler from Pyramid Properties, his game day tradition built here in Ames, Iowa. It's a great reaction once the crowd starts to fill up there in Athens as well. Look here in Ames, what we got. This is our game day done right, people. Dave and Barb Wright, they're following us everywhere.
Oh, yeah, they were in Austin with us. All righty then. Good to see you.
Orlando. They visited John Wayne's hometown. I think there's a Jesse James thing. They're everywhere living their best life. They've been lobbying to get us here.
Yes, sir.
And they have delivered. One of the underrated atmospheres in college football. What's Pollock? Oh, no. No! Oh, misfire. What a surprise, a misfire on a tiny cannon.
I got a cannon in me. Okay?
Oh, Pollock, you're a mess. Oh, wow. Shoot. That was a dud. Yeah. Okay. All righty there. Easy, boys. Easy. Here we go. That's a great sign. People wanting Kansas. Brock Purdy. I'm going to tell you what, in the cornfields, those who support Iowa State love Brock Purdy. Monday Night Football coming up. Baker Mayfield, the Browns taking on Le'Veon and the Jets. 8 Eastern on ESPN, on the ESPN app. Monday Night Countdown. You know who really was almost reaching for the panic button? These guys. Iowa State, opening game against Northern Iowa in a world of trouble, right? And they're in overtime. They're behind. They're going in for the win. Oh, it's a fumble. Ball game over. No game day. Oh, Purdy to the rescue. Brock Purdy got on that pile. He had no business being on the bottom of that pile, but he got there. You have to have courage and valor to get on the bottom of the pile. That's right. And you know who's gonna get on the bottom of the pile for you? Tom Rinaldi. Hey, Tom is our Brock Purdy.
So far, Iowa and Iowa State have combined for 3 fumbles this season. They've lost 2 of them. You just saw what happened as a miracle here to bring game day to Ames. When a ball hits the ground, a violation of a principle that guides us through life seems to happen. Typically, we do everything we can to fight to get to the top. Ball on the ground, we're doing everything we can to get to the bottom.
Welcome back, Tommy.
Thank you, guys.
And we'll get some medical attention for Tommy. That's coming up soon. Coming up, our celebrity guest picker, Eric Church, will join us. A 3-time Country Music Award winner. Wheels Up. We'll get him here. We're good friends. Make sure our guest picker arrives on site. College game day from Ames. A sea of signs here outside Jack Trice Stadium in Iowa State. They built it?
Yes.
And boy, did they ever show up.
They will come.
It's like a field of dreams here. Look at that. Campbell and Barron. Hawks by a million.
Oh, boy.
Stop it. Stop
There are a lot
it.
of Hawks here. A lot of Hawks here.
Well, you know, I wonder if they got good dog over here. There's a lot of corn.
Hawkeye's the worst defender.
That's classic.
That's strong.
Now I can read.
An Iowa fan.
Now I can read.
They can read. There's been some animosity over the years between the two.
Oh, of course, I love corn, though. Who doesn't love corn?
Everybody does.
Yeah,
right?
you gotta love corn.
That's the play. That's the pun that Pollock loves. Pretty Purdy, right? I don't think they secretly.
What's wrong with almond milk? Nothing wrong with almond milk. What's wrong with almond milk? Unsweetened almond milk. Come on.
Are you kidding me? I love almond milk.
See, there you go.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay. You can put me down for hawk milk.
By the way, you got to put that one on there. That's solid.
There you go.
Kicking and taking Ames. That's pretty solid.
Watching corn grow. You know, with this fertile soil, some of the most fertile in the world, I would say that watching corn grow might be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
A lot of people here. Just saying.
Oh, man.
See you, humanity here.
Yeah. Eric Church is our celebrity guest picker. He will join us here in Ames, courtesy of our friends at Wheels Up. Eric Church will make some picks. I wonder which way he's going to go. If he'll go.
Come on. Come on. Hey.
LC's never put on.
Never.
Cyclone headgear.
Never. Plenty of Iowa love, though, guys. Plenty of Iowa love.
Yes, sir.
He loves the Hawkeyes, doesn't he?
You know what?
Uh-oh.
We're in Iowa, this is what we need here.
What do we have here?
Ryan Newstrom, cornbread barbecue.
Oh, we finally got some popcorn. See, I thought you had some good popcorn here.
Okay,
a little popcorn? That looks great.
What are these things?
Right?
Oh, wow, this is like ice cream, huh? Ice cream sandwiches? What's
Des, what do you got there, baby?
What's in this one? Is ice cream?
Corn.
Are you serious?
What is that?
I need like a plate. It's gonna get sloppy.
Corn is.
I'm good with corner.
Guys, what do you got there, man?
And here at Jack Trice Stadium this afternoon, named after the first African-American to play at Iowa State who died after injuries suffered in the game playing for the Cyclones. They will fill it up for this rivalry matchup against Iowa, and there will be not a seat to be had. You know, the old black and gold faithful from Iowa, they were skeptical of Nate Stanley until this game in this stadium 2 years ago. First road start, rallied his team from a deficit, 5 touchdown passes. That is where heroes are made. It's a complex defense that Stanley and the Hawkeyes will be facing today.
Honestly, this game is just physicality and detail.
With Iowa football, it's going to be about stopping the run, and that hasn't changed.
Going to try to hammer the ball, you know, but when we have any of the advantage to throw that ball down the field, we're going to try to do so.
Stanley taking a shot down the field. Smith Marset open.
We're playing a very unique defensive scheme this week.
I think it messes with offensive eyes.
You can't minor in what we do defensively. You have to major in it. It's a relentless defense.
Too much time for the red jerseys to flock and devour the quarterback.
Gonna get down and dirty, really, up front. I know that for a fact.
This is going to be a tight one for sure. Intense. Maria, David, what's going to turn this game?
All right, Reese. Well, we know that David likes Brock Purdy. He really does. 7-2 as a starter at Iowa State. But he's got some issues he's concerned about, and that's the defensive line of Iowa.
They got some adults on the defensive line for Iowa, and I tell you what, you watch them, you love watching their technique, especially as a former defensive lineman. Epineza, how about some power in this boy's hands? Watch him stick this guy. Watch him stick the left tackle, just yak. Look at the shot. Look at the head bounce backwards, and watch him just grown man, adult, lock out a 320-pound tackle and make him look like he's a little tiny little boy, like my little son. I mean, it's amazing the power. Watch the technique. So you do the bull rush. Now you go right at him, and you use violent hands. Watch him swipe the hands down, get right to the quarterback. Awesome job. So it's the power mixed with the violent hands and the technique. And then he's got another guy. It's not just him. I think Golston, 57, you watch him. They'll move him inside, they'll move him outside. But another guy. Great use of hands, quickness coming off the edge. They got 2 guys that will be bearing down on Purdy for all game long.
AJ says that he models his game after J.J. Watt, and we've seen why. Let's get down to your pick. You got to choose Iowa or Iowa State. Who are you rolling with in Ames?
So Iowa has the better offensive line, defensive line, quarterback edge. Nate Stanley, everybody talks about him. I'll take Iowa State. I'll take the Cyclones at home. Brock Purdy scrambling around, making plays with his feet, making plays with his arms. Petway catches a touchdown. Iowa State wins.
I just knew he was going to go Iowa, Reese, but there you go, Iowa State. The crowd's going to carry him out of Ames.
Hey.
A popular pick. The Bear has his marquee game on the board.
Talk to me. I think what happened to Iowa State in the opener, it's struggling past Northern Iowa, might be a little bit of a blessing in disguise. You have a week off since then. Matt Campbell's able to regroup his team and kind of take some lessons away from that show. You need to bring your A game every week. You get a week off, you get your rivalry at home. I think they're undervalued now. I think it's a good buy low point for Iowa State. I think they end that streak and get the home win today.
What's a big key, LC?
Iowa's offense has one major thing going for him. Quarterback Nate Stanley. Now, Nate has started 28 straight games and threw a lot of touchdown passes. He's thrown 6 in the first 2 games. Remember, he threw a touchdown pass late in the game to beat State.
Yeah.
Iowa looks pretty tough to me. I don't know about both.
Bear, Pollock, everybody. Poor old Iowa. They're going to stumble onto their bus and make their way on over here to Ames. And they do have a balanced attack. That's the one thing you think about with Kirk Ferentz. In fact, the last couple years, he would probably tell you, we'd love to get back to being able to run the football a little bit better. And I think in this game today, having that balanced attack will be something that they're going to have to do if they're going to have a chance to get out of here with the win. Yep, they love it. Mekhi Sargent, the running back. Watch his counter. By the way, this is the center. Watch the center pull around. Left side of the line collapses. The center is a thing of beauty. To watch the athletic ability to be able to help out and then finish a block like that. And they're going to be trying to do that today to try to get their backs in space. Sargent could lead the way with a committee of backs. Here, the motion shows the quarterback the defense. They're in zone. So when you're in zone, the quarterback knows he's going to have a shot to his favorite target, Amir Smith-Marset. Watch how this play develops. Safety is going to end up going out with the back of the flat. The free safety actually is going to come up and take that receiver. Look at the opening. Outside leverage from the corner. Big, deep ball. Easy throw for Stanley. Stanley's a heck of a guy. Third-year starter. When you're backed up near your own goal line, Iowa is going to be conservative. They got 8 guys up thinking they're just going to run. Not this year with Iowa. They trust Stanley to make these kind of throws. And that's a different kind of Iowa attack when you have a quarterback in this kind of environment that you trust to be able to make good decisions, whether it's third down, whether you're backed up in your own end zone, whatever it might be. Des, Stanley and the balance and the big playability of Amir Smith-Marset. This Hawkeye team's for real.
No doubt about that. It's going to be imperative that the Iowa State's defense don't give up the big play. And the way they're going to try to defend the big plays, because they have a strange configuration defensively. It's a 3-3-5 defense. Let me show you what you're going to see from the Cyclones defense when they take the field this afternoon. 3 guys, 3 defensive linemen, then 3 linebackers, and then like a cloud coverage of 5 DBs behind. They want to get their best 11 on the field. Speaking of their best 11, how about number 12? Greg Eisworth, he's a hybrid player. He plays a star position. He's going to be a guy who lines up in the box. He goes back in coverage. He can do it all. Now, Ray Lehman, it all starts with Big Ray, 306 pounds. He's normally eating up double-team blocks so the linebackers can flow sideline to sideline to make plays. Speaking of linebackers, watch out for number 23, Mike Rose. When you see that blur today, it's going to be number 23 going sideline to sideline, making tackles. These guys are very active on the second level. Speaking of active, Marcel Spears, number 42. Only 220 pounds, but big enough and strong enough to take on blocks and still make tackles, and he's really good in coverage and space, too. The 3-3-5 configuration, I think, is going to give Iowa's offense fits today when they play the Hawkeyes.
One thing we've touched on, haven't talked about a lot, Iowa has been decimated in the secondary.
Yes.
They've got some inexperienced guys, some guys who started their careers as walk-ons who are going to be counted on if they're going to slow down Brock Purdy. And we have told you, our guy is here, country music superstar, Eric Church, and Maria's out there with him. Maria?
I sure am, Reese. Eric Church, he's making his way over here. You got to tell me, though, this is your 3rd time on game day. What's the approach you got to take to get your picks right?
Well, it's normally picking the home team.
Okay, that's what you're going to go with?
No.
Man, I don't think you got a plan, but you got it, Eric. Coming up next on College Game Day, Eric Church. He's joining the set, and everybody's making their picks. Come on now.
College Game Day is built by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. And in part by Pizza Hut, official pizza of college football. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
What a tremendous scene here in Ames, getting ready for the Cy-Hawk rivalry game inside Jack Trice Stadium. Got to get Herbie on that bird after making some picks to go join Sean McDonough, being honored as an outstanding alumnus of Syracuse. Calling the game on ABC at 7:30 Eastern Time, along with Maria. Take a look at our Saturday selections for today. It's brought to you by Coors Light. Hey, Eric Church on that double down tour. You just came from another football hotbed in Green Bay,
yes,
right?
He did.
Yeah, last night.
It was pretty good?
Yeah,
Got a lot of sleep before you came in here to make
I got a couple hours.
Hey, look at last week.
Hey, look what McConaughey did to you. He set a bar up there.
I'm gonna blow him up.
Hey, no, the playmaker didn't have much to work with, just 4 foot, but he didn't make any plays.
No.
He was 1 of 3. The other 2 guys have been good. Let's make some PN, and this afternoon, Iowa and Iowa State.
Oh, boy.
Back in 1916, the United States Education Commissioner said Iowa and Iowa State shouldn't play because of general antagonism. Well, they didn't play for more than 4 decades. They play now.
the antagonism's still alive.
There's just a lot of people waiting for this day every year. Can't wait for that Cy-Hawk game.
You know, there's not professional sports or anything here in the state.
It is like the Super Bowl of Iowa. We're expecting a hostile environment.
The divide within the state happens everywhere you go, especially when you get into this week.
That side of the state hates you. Getting a win and, you know, silencing them, there's no other feeling like it.
Whoever wins gets bragging rights for 365 days a year.
Rivalry is fight to the death.
Dennis, you get first swing, Iowa or Iowa State?
I tell you what, Artie, this is an incredible atmosphere right here. I think that first game was a chance for Matt Campbell. His staff said, look, you guys aren't as good as you think you are. They had an extra week to prepare. There's no way the Cyclones lose at home with this crowd against Iowa. I'm going Cyclones.
Kirk, what do you got?
I just like to thank the great people of Ames, Iowa for having College Game Day here. We've really enjoyed our time. I'm a huge fan of Matt Campbell. You know, a couple years ago I said he's going to leave. He's not leaving this place. How could he ever leave this place? And today they got a rivalry game against another coach I really admire, and I'm going with the old veteran, Kirk Ferentz and the Hawkeye.
So for the last 4 years, Iowa has outscored Iowa State 38-14 in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
And I think it's going to come down to that. And my apologies, Iowa. Hawkeye.
Let me tell you, Iowa, University of Iowa's got a lot of going for them in this game. Iowa's played Iowa State 67 times and beat them twice as many times. Wow. Oh, listen to this. Iowa has won 4 straight against Iowa State. Iowa has won 3 straight in this town.
Right here.
Yes.
Really?
And the guys in Las Vegas say Iowa is a road favorite.
Well, that's
so
what
it's a lock. Yeah, there's no way Iowa's going to win this ball game. Give me a Hawkeye.
Yeah, there we go. Was that a head fake? Was that a head fake, LC?
These people aren't going to let Iowa win the game. Give me that head.
We gave him the old cutback.
The Cyclone LC for the first time. The new headgear, thanks to Eric Church. Best of luck on that Double Down tour. Going to take you to start